For those who enjoy the ocean, it is a relief that the Megalodon, a massive shark that may have measured up to 20 meters in length and weighed a ton, no longer exists in the depths of the ocean. Although we are grateful that such terrifying and powerful creatures of the past are gone, there are still equally terrifying creatures that can be found in our world. Here are 5 creatures from the Mariana Trench that are more terrifying than Megalodon. Number 5. Let me pose this very important question to you right away. What is more feared than the unknown? After all, isn't that what keeps us stuck in our routines and prevents us from discovering the vast world out there? Likewise, when it comes to the ocean's depths, we don't know everything that's out there, which makes people afraid of what might be hidden there. An excellent illustration of this is the Bloop sea monster, concerning whom many people have questions after scientists discovered an unexplained sound. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration discovered the ultra-low frequency noise, known as the Bloop, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in 1997. Some have speculated that the noise may have belonged to an unidentified marine organism. The fact that the sound was recorded both above and below the water's surface indicates that it is not an unknown creature, even though some claim that the sound was produced by an iceberg breaking off from Antarctica. While whales are known to make sounds underwater, they are usually not audible from the surface unless the whales are present. As previously mentioned, the first sound from the Bloop was recorded in 1997. It then appeared again in 2012, so it may have taken 15 years, but we did hear it twice, indicating that it was more than just a one-time event. The question of whether a sea creature is making this noise is one that many people are curious to solve, and it's not an easy task if not obvious. Some people maintain that the sound is simply the result of an ice shelf breaking off or something similar, but others are doubtful. Number 4. When it comes to scariness, size really doesn't matter. Sure, there are plenty of enormous creatures that are terrifying, but there are also some small creatures that are terrifying in every way that matters. For example, you might be afraid of sharks when you're in the water, but you're constantly on the lookout for things like bees and hornets because you don't want to get stung. In the Mariana Trench, there lives a small but terrifying creature known as the deep sea anglerfish. It's so terrifying that Disney used this creature in Finding Nemo to terrify both the audience and the main characters. Its size is only about 18 centimeters at its longest, and you're unlikely to see one on the surface because it lives over 2,000 meters below sea level. This is actually to its advantage because of its hunting style. Because light cannot reach the area, animals have developed ways to survive without light or to create it. In the case of the deep sea anglerfish, this is because it has a protrusion on its head that can emit a light bulb because fish at that depth don't see light very often and are therefore naturally drawn to it. When it comes to deep sea anglerfish, the females are seen 99 times out of 100 since they are larger than the males, who are smaller. What's even more horrifying than any shark in the ocean is that when a male mates with a female, they essentially fuse together. Number 3. While the Megalodon was once the most feared creature in the deep, this is not to say that modern sharks aren't equally terrifying. The Frilled Shark, in particular, is frightening because it doesn't resemble any shark that you would recognize. Instead, it is a living fossil because its species has existed for millions of years and hasn't really evolved that much. This is kind of contradictory because one would think that a creature would evolve over time and become more adept at adapting to its surroundings, but with the Frilled Shark, this isn't the case, and as a result, it looks more like an eel. As active predators, they may lunge at potential prey, swallowing it whole even if it is fairly large. Because of this, they will want to end things in one shot, which indicates that plenty of prey are on their list dating back to the 1st century. I mean, seriously, look at their leathery bodies and how they don't have a fin on their tops like every shark species that you are aware of. Additionally, when they swim in an eel-like manner and not like any other sharks. There's a lot of fear of the unknown when it comes to frilled sharks because they live at such a depth that they're hardly ever studied or filmed. As a result, no one really knows anything about their ecology, population size, or anything else. It might be better that way, though, as it also means we won't be learning much about them anytime soon. Number 2. The fawn-toothed fish, so named because of its impressive-looking teeth that are actually the largest teeth of any fish in the ocean when taken in proportion to their body size, is a fish that is willing to carve things up and is aware of it. Sometimes, it's not about the size of the creature, but the size of its terrifying teeth that dig into their prey. The irony is that, despite their small size, only about 16 centimeters, they pose little threat to humans, but you should still avoid getting bitten by one. What's more frightening is that, depending on the circumstances, they can be found in shallow and deep waters, anywhere from 200 to over 5,000 meters below the surface, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is known as range. Number 1. There are many monsters in the depths that have scared people over the generations, and you could argue that the giant squid is one of the most legendary of them all. The scariest thing about them would be their size. They can reach a maximum length of 13 meters, and I say maximum because that's the largest one that scientists have been able to personally measure. Many would speculate that they can actually grow many meters taller, and because they live in the depths, it's difficult to get one to the surface to check out. Many of the enormous squids that have been discovered have just washed up on the shore, which has probably scared off a lot of people. You might get goosebumps when you learn how excellent they are at hunting. By projecting 2 long feeding tentacles that are tipped with hundreds of sharp-toothed suckers, giant squid can capture prey up to 10 meters away. These tentacles can often double the length of the giant squid. If the prey escapes being snagged in the tentacles, it is gradually pulled towards its beak, which is where it will ultimately rest. Trust me, if you are lucky enough to come within striking distance of a giant squid, you're probably already dead. The stories surrounding them, however, are even more terrifying. This is one of the creatures that gave rise to the Kraken legend because sailors feared that these tentacled monsters would emerge from the depths and effortlessly sink their boats. They might be able to submerge a small boat, though probably not a metal one. Still, no one can be positive that the Kraken doesn't exist. That's all for today's deep sea monsters. Do you know of any others that should have been on this list? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.